Welcome to Lettering Comics, Lettering in Adobe Illustrator. I'm Robert Johnston. In today's video, I'm taking my created lettering template from the last video and lettering a comic page in it. So I'll copy and paste my script into the document along with the artwork and begin splitting it up by panel, by balloon. As you can see in Illustrator, it's pretty easy to create vector shapes, move them around, fill them with a color, put a stroke on them, and place them into place. One of the things I do when I import the script is I immediately turn the font into the lettering font I'm going to use and the font size that I'm going to use. Usually it's about 6.5 font size. I've seen other people use 6 points, but to be honest, I think that's way too small. So I did a few print tests. I typed out on an 11 by 7 or an 8.5 by 11 page some font sizes in the font I'm using, and I did a 6, I did a 6.5, and I did a 7 and a 7.5. And what I learned was that the 7.5 actually works best, because last thing you want to do is pull out your magnifying glass just to read a comic book. Strain your eyes, give yourself a headache, make the experience just not worth it at all. So I stick with a 7.5, and that's that. What I'm doing here is I'm creating multiple balloons, and I'm going to run one tail through them all, because it's super easy in Illustrator to do this. Then you do what's called make a group, or create the group using, you got to go through that palette, and then what it does is it links them together, but you can still edit them, which is super helpful. Most programs can do this. I'll be running other lettering through other programs to show you just how good they measure up to Illustrator in this regard. But I mean, if you have Illustrator, go ahead and use it. If you don't have Illustrator, then you gotta find alternatives, which I'll be going over in other videos as well. So here we're gonna try again, this time without the artwork. We're gonna show you some lettering in a balloon, as it says. We're gonna turn that balloon, we're gonna shape it up, fit it around the text, and we're gonna do something. We're gonna put we're gonna make sure that we have even space around, or even padding around the text inside the balloon. So how do you do this? Well, you fit it, eyeball it, put your tail in there, do the compound group or whatever you call that, put your text in there, and then I think I'm moving on to the next one. I think I'm making a couple different ones just to show you the shapes here, because basically you can have whatever shape you want. You can have a more rounded version like this one, or a more of a rectangular rounded edge version like the first one. You can make any shape you want, really, just so long as I'm not a big fan of gigantic word balloons with all kinds of text. So here you see me trying to make the space, and I'm using one character around the entire interior of the balloon between the text. That's a good thing to do. After a while, you won't need to do that forever, just until you develop the eye where you can just eyeball it and give yourself that breathing space, because you can test it. You can create different kinds of spacing between the balloons and see how easy or harder it is, depending on how close your text is to the border. So in this series here, I'm getting rid of the tails. I'm going to group these together like I did in the last video. This whole process can take anywhere from a couple of minutes to however long you want it to take, really. I think I can letter one page in maybe like less than 5 minutes using a vector program that I'm familiar with. I used to letter in Illustrator primarily, but not everybody can afford to do that monthly payment any longer when they went to the subscription model. So a lot of people have migrated over to Clip Studio, and what I discovered recently was Affinity Designer was a pretty good alternative because it allows you to do everything Illustrator can do. The only downside is, it's only got one or two downsides, which I'll explain in that video when we get there. But as you can see, you can create the compound group, and it retains the border width and the fill, and it looks professional. It's clean, and you'll always end up with a good set of balloons that you can edit in Illustrator. It's pretty easy. The creation of the balloons, I'm just going to go ahead and read this. The creation of the balloons is pretty darn easy and looks pretty good if you do it right. Capiche? So, I like techniques that you can edit. I don't like building things that are final when it comes to this stuff, because you can technically copy and paste all these word balloons here out into another just blank document that you can have all of your lettering and reuse them. That's the beauty about vector, is just reuse it, man. Okay, well, that's it, and we'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks. Bye.